See, if you meet a average so-called wealthy man in India, especially in the north, they will have bouncers and the biggest of the big car, and they come with an attitude. Here you come to Goa, you'll meet a badkar, a landlord, who may have 30 or 40 acres of land, and maybe much more than he has, but he'll be on a kinetic Honda. He'll be on a bike.
True.
And stop in a chai shop and have a chai and have a great conversation about what's happening around.
Welcome to Susegaad Musings, the brand new talk show that's all about the sun-kissed, beautiful state of Goa. Co-hosted by Amit, Chopra and myself, Lobo, we talk about the real Goa by speaking to people who call Goa their home.
People often look at the word Susegaad as something lazy, bad. Actually, it's not. It's good. People focus more on a quality life rather than earning. An average Indian, he will keep his shop open even if it's possible up to 10 o'clock, thinking of another one more rupee.
Right.
But Goans, when I came to Goa, afternoon 1:30, they put their shutter down. Even if you go there saying that I'm going to buy for 10,000, he says, so boss, come after 4 o'clock.
The fourth episode of Susegaad Musings features Matthew Kurian. He is the founder of El Shaddai Charitable Trust, today one of Goa's biggest NGOs. He shares about the Goa he first saw when he arrived here 30 years ago and how his own struggles with addiction and hopelessness led him to do what he is doing today. We prefer to have Matthew share about it like only he can, so let's get straight into this episode of Susegaad Musings. So welcome to another episode of Susegaad Musings. Matthew Kurian, sir, thank you very much for coming on our talk show. Amit, I met Matthew when I was 4 years old.
Wow.
And he had freshly come from Kerala with a vision to help the alcoholics, the drug addicts, to help and serve society.
Oh.
And he literally came with nothing. And only now, if I think about it, I actually remember your room. He was staying in the
Backyard of your house.
Yeah, he had a small cottage behind my grandparents' house, and he was staying there. And only now I remember that there was actually no bed. There was no, I don't know if there was a chair also. It was basically blank, So he just came with a few clothes, I think. But I loved spending time with him during my holidays. We would go out and we would pluck sucking mangoes and eat together, go on the hill.
Exercising
together. So, and anyway, I've been very privileged that when I came back to Goa, we connected in a big way. Because I got married to Eustace, who was very close to Matthew. So, first tell us, how was Goa when you first came, and what was your experience of Goa?
Okay. So when I came to Goa first, the moment I landed up, I felt this is the place I belong. This is the place I want to make my life. I love this laid-back, Susegaad attitude of Goans, not so obsessive with achievements and want to make money. Average Goan is always looking for a good time. He's not looking for making business deals. The only defect I see in Goans are sometimes they get overwhelmed with themselves and they behave a little foolish. But overall, one thing I like in Goa is the fun-loving attitude of Goans, and they don't look at what you have. They look at what you are. If you're a decent person, talk decent, carry yourself gentle, they don't look at what money you have, which car you came, nothing. I mean, they just love you, they just enjoy the company.
That is so true.
They just enjoy your company.
This is what I've been speaking, the warmth and welcoming nature of Goans is what makes Goa what it is.
See, if you meet an average so-called wealthy man in India, especially in the north, they will have bouncers and the biggest of the big car, and they come with an attitude. Here you come to Goa, you'll meet a badkar, a landlord, who may have 30 or 40 acres of land, and maybe much more than he has, but he'll be on a kinetic Honda. He'll be on a bike.
True.
And stop in a chai shop and have a chai and have a great conversation about what's happening around.
Absolutely. I've seen this. It's quite true about Goa. That I think with the kind of background that Goa has, with the kind of exposure that Goa had, people here are, Susegaad, the word is always said, abused. People have contentment.
Yeah.
And with that, they don't want to show off. Basically, they are not show-offs.
So
there are some everywhere, but most of them you'll find, they are happy and they will not like to show who they are, what they are, who they are connected with. That attitude, mera baap kaun hai, janta hai who am I, who I know, that is not here.
Yeah.
The people in the conversation will be welcoming, accepting what you are. You may be anybody. You may be a rich guy, you may be a film star, you may be a normal worker who's earning daily wages and yet has saved and come down here to stay and enjoy himself. They will treat you with respect. That is what has made Goa what Goa is.
Yeah.
That is what I think, and that is what I think you also felt, when you came down here. I would like to ask you a question. When we were having a conversation below, you were telling me that you had a different life before, and then one day you had an awakening, realization. So I would like you to just tell a little bit on what kind of it was, and then what thought came to you and how you changed and how you made it into such positivity that it ended up with you being here, creating Al Shaddai and doing so much. And then I would, after that, try and probably since you have seen him so close, have a conversation about Al Shaddai, what it does, how you do, and what I would like you to also tell us, what the changes you have seen in Goa.
Okay. So before I start, I love boasting about Goa. One more thing I want to say is that people often look at the word Susegaad as something lazy, bad. Actually, it's not. It's good. And you go to Europe, in countries like Germany or Norway or Holland or Italy or France, people focus more on a quality life rather than earning so much. If an average Indian, he will keep his shop open even if it's possible up to 10 o'clock, thinking of the one more rupee.
Right.
But Goans, when I came to Goa, afternoon 1:30, they put their shutter down. Even if you go there saying that I'm going to buy for 10,000, he says, so boss, come after 4 o'clock. I love that attitude of, I don't want to be greedy. I don't want so much. I want my quality time. When I travel to Europe, most of them, they close their shop by 5:30. Go home and have an extended evening with a glass of wine or beer. Good food, enjoy family. That's something that all of India has learned. That's something that Goa has very unique. So Susegaad is not a bad name or bad word. It's a good word. Everyone must learn to have a Susegaad time every day. There is no point of working and earning so much money.
Yes, if you don't have time for yourself and your family.
So
you may have built a huge house. I'm from Kerala. You come to my area, there are huge houses, but there is nobody to stay. There is nobody there.
I know.
So, and all these old people are sitting hoping the son or daughter will visit. Unfortunately, they don't have time because that's what they learned from their parents. That they worked all the time and never had time for the children. So children feel the same thing, and now I have to work, I have to go with my friend. So Goa I like for the Susegaad culture. I hope that it will remain. All the shops will close by 1:30 in the afternoon, go for lunch.
No, but
don't open before 4 o'clock.
We have a lot of Rajasthani, Marwadis.
Yeah, but we need to teach them Susegaad.
I don't know if business will run.
No,
otherwise the
you'll be
DNA of
surprised.
Goa will change.
I think even they are learning with that. I've seen some Rajasthanis also wanting, थोड़ा देर का break लेते हैं, बाद में काम करेंगे, and then they've started not shutting maybe very early, but pretty early. They start spending time. I think Goa gets into your blood.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Otherwise you don't live here.
And people used to tell me, you were quite calm sometimes. I used to be quite, on the surface, many think that I'm quite calm, contented. Where did you get it? I said, it is in my blood. So you're a Punjabi. Punjabis are
angry man
type. I am that type also. But then because of my mom, I think my family My mother's a Goan.
Oh.
From Kandoli and Santa Cruz had the houses.
Barrettos.
I was born here. The best part is I think I got that nature from them. I've got the bad of both sides.
I don't know whether bad or good, I'm not sure.
I say the bad of both sides because, people say relaxed, content, don't want to do too much. Yes, yet wanting to do quality things is not bad. My first experience in Goa was after 30 years old, I came back to Goa. I had left when I was around 4. And when I came here, I went to a shop. 12:30, he made me wait for some time and then nicely told me, I'm closing down, come at 4 o'clock. I didn't know how to react.
I would have that same experience. As a child, I would go to this one grocery shop in Seolim. Sanklekers, right?
Sanklekar. He's very helpful.
Oh my
very
God.
Kind.
So every time I would go there, I'd have to wait for 15 minutes. Wait. And I'd tell my grandparents, how long is he taking? They're like, just wait and get.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just how it is. I'm surprised in Kerala, you're saying most of the houses are empty.
Yeah.
It's very hard to imagine that. I mean, big, because I know they have a big
He's
building,
talking about the big
huge.
houses.
Yes.
People who have come, are actually living abroad, come down here.
Children are gone abroad.
Build big houses, and there is hardly anybody in it.
Yeah.
Just a parent or two
Tell
living
us about
alone.
the rental market
The
in
lowest
Kerala.
lowest birth rate in India is in Kerala.
Oh.
Some of the villages very, very low. Very low means it was there.
Is that because most are abroad now? Or?
They're
all the
working
young
in their
people
life.
have gone migrated. The old people, some died, some were there, they can't make any more babies. So, Kerala has its own problems. So, I love boasting about Goa, as I said earlier. I travel a lot. Wherever I go, I always long to come back to Goa. Even if I go to Kerala, when I come back and when the aeroplane door opens, I feel so excited. This air in Goa, when you breathe, it brings an excitement.
It has got a different vibe.
Yeah.
I've seen this in a lot of people, not myself only, that when they step into Goa, some are Goans, some people are
land of freedom.
non-Goans, there's a different, feeling that comes over you.
Yeah.
If you go out, travel out for some time and come back to Goa, there's a different, I can't call it a rush or anything, but the feeling of not just home. It is like I have reached probably, I think we are blessed that we are seeing paradise on earth here. I think this is what paradise is. One day we'll wake up, which people think we'll die, and we'll realize that we have just, been thrown out of paradise. This is what I sincerely believe in. You come out, as he said, from a train or a plane and step down into the earth of Goa, something changes.
Very true.
Something changes. I can't pinpoint it.
I think the sense of freedom, of freedom of expression. You can be yourself. I don't want to be politically touching anyone. Say, like in all over India, there are people get beaten up or killed even for cow killing, eating. But in Goa government, when Parikar was our chief minister, we had a shortage of beef. He said, though he was BJP, he said, I'll make sure that Goans will have enough beef to eat. So that sense of freedom is beyond the political boundaries, beyond the religious. And there's a great amount of harmony. There is a bunch of Christians, Hindus. In the Hindus, there are different castes. There are a small amount of Muslims. But there is a harmony. When you meet, there is no hostile attitude. People just compliment. They may not like you because of your religious orientation or political, but they don't throw that on your face.
True. Absolutely true.
There is a sense of tolerance, acceptance.
There is also a different thing here in Goa where I have seen everybody celebrates their festivals together.
Very good.
Hindus and Muslims will come together with Christians to celebrate their festivals. Christians and Muslims will come together with Hindus to celebrate their festivals. Even Eid in this thing, Hindus and Christians will go to their Muslim friends, share their food with them, especially at the time of Eid. I've seen people coming. So we love to go to have biryani. You may not have mutton biryani or something else, but you'll have that chicken biryani or veg biryani or pulao, whatever you want to call it, and that sheer kurma. So I've seen so many go and enjoy it, celebrate with them. And I think this is one unique thing about Goa.
Yeah.
That I think is the harmony that you speak about, sir. So you have seen Goa for how many years now?
Now, I'm here for last 30 years.
Wow. So what is the experience? What is the change you've
two
seen
things
for good or bad?
You asked me a question earlier, what made me to come to Goa? And you asked what was my life before.
Yes.
And now you're saying, okay, what made you to come? So basically, I grew up in a middle class Catholic Christian family. I went for Mass almost every day from the 3rd or 4th standard. And I was trying to become I was getting ready to become a priest.
Wow.
And my cousin got ordained as a Capuchin Franciscan priest. So when I went for his ordination, and I was very touched with the way he spoke, and he came and talked to me, and he gave me the life of Francis of Assisi, one of the saints of Christianity. He was from the Lord family, like a wealthy family, and he gave up everything, and he went to seashore, drew a picture of family, and he put a cross and said, "Done with the family." And he took a very ascetic life of poverty, and he had the wounds on his hand. They say he got miraculously got. I don't know whether he made it or whatever. But anyway, he was a very committed, sacrificial person. I read that book he gave many times. I thought to myself, I want to become like him.
Like Saint Francis.
Saint Francis of Assisi. I want to be like him. But I finished my 10th. I went for seminary. But the things was not the way I thought. You look at the religion as something very solemn, or every person in the religion is very holy and very pious, and then you get close to them, you realize they're just like you. Human beings have the same lust and the greed, the pride and everything. So that was shocking for me, and I found difficult to take it, because you had an expectation on things certain way, and your expectation got gone. So that made me to doubt God, and I started questioning things and doing a lot of stupid, silly things in the church, and I was kicked out of the church finally because I did things that nobody should do. I robbed the communion wine and communion bread, which is supposed to be the most holy thing in the Catholic Church. And Monday, Thursday, this week is coming, which is the most important day. This weekend, all the Catholics go to Mass. So, and I robbed on Wednesday night. So there is no wine and there is no bread to do the communion on Thursday. So I was caught. I was being kicked out of the church, and that sacristan had to go home and make the bread in the night, all night working for the next day morning for the Mass. So that was the end of my religious life. And then I became an atheist, left home, got messed up, picked up the habit of drinking, smoking, drugs, hash, all these kind of things. And I couldn't tolerate my parents because I found them very boring and too much control. So I ran away from the house, lived in the street like a tramp, did every possible thing. So one night I was drunk, I was sleeping in a bus shelter. And next day morning I got up and I was sitting in the bus shelter, and I looked out, and I asked myself, what's wrong with you? Everybody is going somewhere. A lot of bikes and cars and buses are going. Everybody is going somewhere. And the girls and boys are standing in front of me to catch the bus, well dressed. And here I am wearing dirtiest of the dirty clothes because I hadn't had a bath for many days. And I looked at myself and said, what's wrong with you? It can't be good. You can't go on like that. So I went to a river and I had a bath, washed my clothes, put it on. And I went searching for a job. I got a job of wiping the table in a chai shop, a small gado. So I started working. That was turnaround in my life.
Absolute turnaround. Absolute.
So that time also I didn't give up my smoking hash, all this kind. I continued. But I started working. Then I came to know there are hotels, better hotels, 5-star hotels. So I asked myself, why the hell you're working here? You should work in some good place and make some good money and good life. So I went to check the hotels and I moved to a catering college. I did my 12th again. Went to catering college.
Started studying again?
Again.
Wow.
So I would go in the morning, 8 o'clock from my room for the college. 1:30 I come back. Within short time, change the clothes, go to the hotel, run almost. Eat the food, join from 3 to 11:30. Every day, except the weekly off day.
And were you now self-funded? Like were your parents?
I work, no parents, nothing. I work all day and with the money I pay my fees. And anyway, that's the way it all happened. But still I was very unhappy and I felt very miserable. And I tried to kill myself a number of times, feeling like there is no meaning in life. People are so selfish and evil and there is no integrity. I struggle to believe that someone will love you genuinely. I was so convinced that people use the word love only to manipulate you. I never believed anybody will love you for nothing. I always said people love you because they have a hidden agenda. Somehow it was registered in my mind. But later part, I went through a lot of stress, a lot of problem, a lot of difficulty. I used to have a habit of fighting, hitting people, all this kind of thing. So everywhere you go, there is problems. So in one of the peak stage of my problem, I happened to be in a Christian camp. There was a youth camp, young people. I heard about Christ there and I asked myself, what if it's true? Why don't I try? Because my life is so miserable. So I accepted Christ and became a Christian back again as a true Christian. So then my desire to help people came back, which I had in the childhood. So I was praying, reading, thinking what to do. And I said to myself, this is the time for you to do if you want to do something different. Because once you cross 28, 29, get married, you can't be free. You're committed. So
How old were you at this time?
I was 23, 24. So I decided to spend some time to study more about the faith that I found and the thing that I want to do, helping the alcoholics and drug addicts. Because I was on drugs for 6-7 years. My parents and my father's brother, all alcoholics. They never worked, they only drank and sell the property. So then I heard about Goa. Someone spoke about Goa, and I wanted to come here always because it's famous for parties and drugs and booze and women and all this kind of thing. But somehow I never came. So I said, I'll go to Goa, just like that. And I came in Goa in 93, 1993 in April 9th.
So 30 years now.
30 years.
This is April.
April.
Yes, so 30 years.
30
what a
years.
coincidence, what a coincidence.
So I came here, straight away, I was staying in YMCA first, and I was looking for a place so difficult. Those days, Goans won't give place for rental to anybody unknown. They get too worried. But when I came to Goa, I felt this is best place. This is the place I wanted. I like the culture, the freedom, and Kerala. I was always feeling suffocated. Why? Because there is so much of expectation on you from your parents, from your uncles and aunts. Everybody is worried about what you're studying, what job you're doing, how much money you got, how much gold you have, what clothes you're wearing, is it branded? Very, very judgmental. That's one bad side of Kerala. Very, very judgmental. They look at you, what you're wearing, they will check your shoes, what brand. Very carefully they analyze you. And if you're wearing branded and good, then they will
In
treat
those
you.
days, what were the brands in 1993?
We used to get foreign brands.
They were foreign brands. Yes. There were a lot of foreign brands. Even
the shirt, Charadin, CD shirts were very, very famous.
Chiragdin was very famous.
People used to get from Mumbai.
93?
Yeah. And Vimal was there, Vimal. Zodiac was there.
Lot of branded these things were
I
there.
thought the only brand was Bata and Payal Chappals.
Bata was the shoes.
Bata was in shoes, and the best amongst them
we
were the
used to get
Bata
Nike
ambassadors.
necklace.
I'm seeing that you're wearing brogues, semi-brogues, whatever. But these kind of shoes were the ultimate at that time,
Yeah.
Somebody wearing a nice brogue, Bata ambassador. He was looked, oh wow, he's wearing a Bata ambassador.
Yeah.
And people used to wear all these fake brands, means
Like
knockoffs.
copycats. Yeah.
Yeah. So Nike, Reebok shoes, Levi's jeans, knockoffs used to be there. They were, or they used to get imported things when somebody is coming from abroad, and they were very coveted at that time. But you came.
So when I came here, when I interacted with the Goans, I stayed with his grandparents to start. I found people are very friendly and nice, very helpful, and they are not putting so much demand, not too much expectation. They accept you as you are. So I love that culture. His parents, his grandparents were almost like my parents.
Oh, wow.
They really took care. His grandmother would sit on the veranda till I come back in the evening. If I come after 9, she will be scolding me every day. Don't come so late, it's dangerous. In fact, those days Goa was 1,000 times safer than today.
Yeah.
Most of the houses didn't have the grills. You could leave the houses open.
Goa was like this. Now the doors were, there were no locks in most of the houses.
No windows, no grills. Windows
No.
open.
People used to just leave their houses and walk out.
And if you go inside the house, many people only wear langoti, the Indian tie. I've seen many people only wear kasti or a shorts or something. People are very free and relaxed. So that culture, I love.
But was this like, I don't see that nowadays.
No.
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen. I've only seen like the farmers wear that.
No, you're talking about the kashti, but still,
But
people will wear their
Langoti-
shorts
I've
and
been to the homes where
This is
men
Catholic.
wear it. Catholic.
they might
whatever.
not be wearing kashtis, but they'll be wearing shorts and nicely relaxing with a
But big
talking with
tummy
this. Yes.
and one small shorts, or maybe under. I've seen many with only wearing underwear.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's hot, April, May. And there is no much fans
They're
or things
sitting.
like that. only.
They used to be very different. People used to relax in their homes.
Okay.
This was there. Yes.
And guess what? 30 years back when I came, there were donkeys in Mapsa market carrying goods. I have not seen any donkey in Kerala. 30 years back, there were donkeys in Mapsa market. People come with the donkeys to buy grocery
Stuff,
or
groceries.
shopping and
To carry.
on the donkey. So, but Goa was beautiful. I mean, people are so friendly and.
Do you see still the friendliness and still the beauty of Goa?
But now I think we have got a bit too commercialized.
Yes. Yes.
And
Commercialization, sadly.
that quality is taken a hit. It's all about money. It's all about money. Too much money. It has changed the chemistry in the society a lot.
Now, I'd like to ask you about Al Shaddai. So, from being involved in drugs and wanting to do something about drug and alcoholism and help people, destitutes, because you yourself lived on the streets.
Yeah.
You've seen it, done it. That turnaround that you wanted to do something good, how did you start that and go? And now, how's your journey been? Your experiences about it? Little about that, and also what do you, advise and wish for the future of Goa?
So I have one policy. I always love to enjoy life. Whatever I'm doing, I do it wholeheartedly. Either I'm fully in or I'm fully out. I don't even want to look at what you're doing. But if I like it, then I'm giving myself fully. Yes. So when I came to Goa, I had no idea what I was coming. I thought I will come here to help alcoholics, help them through withdrawal, take them out, help people who are on drugs. I was very convinced that if I can change, anybody can change. Because I was such deeply addicted and into too many problems. And, there was this real transformation within me. So I was so convinced that if I can change, that means anybody can change. So I came working with them. And when you work with alcoholics and drug users, the recovery percentage is very, very small. The global census says that 4 to 6%. Even that 4 to 6%, a majority is still unstable.
Yes.
Because
Relapses keep on
addiction is the language they know. And they're craving for the addiction. And without addiction, they don't even know how to talk, how to carry themselves. If you meet an alcoholic and he stopped drinking, he will come and sit here, he wouldn't open his mouth because he doesn't know what to say. Same with the people on drugs. And they really don't know. Because the drug and alcohol, any kind of addiction, basically change your character.
Okay.
So, But my character was changed, so I believe that everybody can change. So I started working, helping people. In the middle of that, I met one Lamani. I never seen Lamanis in Kerala. We don't have them. Tribal community, Banjaras, where all the jewelry is. And I was quite fascinated the way they dress up. All these glass pieces and coins and all this kind of stitched and don't have bath and do all kind of odd jobs. So I met one guy called Kemanna, and I spoke to him, and I kind of turned him away first time, and he wanted to come to my meetings and get to know and all. Then after some time I met him on the street and talked to him, and he was a bit upset with me. So I asked him what happened. Then he opened up himself, so he's not happy. And I asked a question to myself. I'm trying to make it very short. Why did I turn this guy away? Why did I didn't want to help him? Basically, he's dirty, filthy, poor, not my kind. So that put me on a fix to saying to myself, I'm an hypocrite. I love Jesus Christ. I try my best to be a disciple of Jesus, not effective, as much as possible. And I found myself, I'm a liar, I'm a hypocrite, though I say I want to follow the teachings of Christ. Christ is all about the poor, the oppressed, and the lepers. Lepers were the HIV patients of his time, or reaching out to the poor and the needy and oppressed. And I claim that I came for that kind of purpose, and I don't want to help him because he's not my kind. So I felt convicted. I invited him to come. He came. Then I visited the slum. That's the first time in my life I stepped into slums to see people's lives are so horrible, so miserable. And the entire Lamani community, none of them are going to school. They're all from Karnataka, Andhra. Nobody go to school. They're like a scum. People treat them so bad, and they also don't know how to behave. So I went there, spoke to them. They liked me. So I started going regularly to teach them health and hygiene, family planning, why you should not marry early, and importance of education. I worked with the health department, done a lot of health camps. I helped their children to go to school. First two children I went sent to school, Arjun and Santosh. Santosh is married. He has a child. He sells fish in Mapsa market. Arjun is in America. Wow. So I started helping them, and then I got very excited. And they also treated me like a big person, because normally nobody go to slums those days. And when somebody like us go, they feel like you are a big patram, coming. So probably I must have enjoyed that attention also. So I started going them regularly. Then I set up a slum school. I told these guys, education is important. We need to educate the children. So some of them are convinced. Those days I had no much money. I myself was struggling to find money for food. So I told them, let's set up a school. They said, they got excited. And they all give me 2 rupees, 3 rupees, 5 rupees, whatever they can afford. And we collect the money. We bought some bamboos and coconut leaves. And we set up a school in Karaswado slum, behind the petrol pump. So that's where I started. So started educating the children. I arranged 2 girls to go every day to teach, Fatima and Maria. So they both used to go every day, 9 to 1.
Fatima is the name of my aunt, and Maria was my mother's name.
Oh, cool. They are my first people to work with me. So I started helping them, but I found still is a problem, because they are in this slum culture, a lot of alcoholism, prostitution, fighting, shouting. It's not a peaceful environment, and filthy. The children whom I sent to school, they were not treated well in the school because they are Lamanis or they are like slum people. Other children were treating them bad. So that's the time I said to myself, one day I wanted to set up a home to take some 20, 30 kids and give them a good life, make them smart. I told his grandfather, his grandfather was a great friend of mine. His grandfather was like a father to me. He even beat me once with a stick. For something that I never done it. Anyway, his grandfather said, you are struggling to feed yourself, forget about feeding the children. But I told him in front of his house on the steps, I was standing down, his grandfather was standing up. I told him one day God will make it possible and I will do it.
And you did. And the way you did.
Yeah.
Amazing. Tell us a little bit about Al Shaddai.
So that's where I started. Then I didn't want to start a charity or anything. I just wanted to help people.
Okay.
So helping. A lot of people came. A lot of people started giving me money. A lot of people supporting me. It became a little famous. There was one English lady came to Goa for holidays. She was staying in Theo Carmino. And one morning she was going to the beach, and she saw one boy who was sitting and reading the Bible. And that boy was on drugs and a little mental problem. And by listening to me, talking to me, that he changed. So she was a Christian, so she went and spoke to him and said, what's it all about? And then he told her about me. He was in a mess, he was mentally out and, taking all these kind of things. A lot of bad habits, and he got changed by listening to me. So she asked him, can I come to meet him? And he also told about the charity work I'm doing, like helping the people. That time there was no charity, no bank account, no registration, nothing. So she came to see me with him, and she shared her story. That, she always wanted to help people, and her mother. Her mother worked for 45 years for Red Cross to save the children. And the father also was in the charity working, helping. She also done a lot of charity work in Romania, Albania and all. So she said, can I see what you do? I said, fine. So we went to visit Islam, and after she asked me, why don't we work together? I said, fine. I had no idea what I was talking or what she was asking, because I was not in the habit of collecting money or asking money or anything like that. She said, in order for me to help you, you must register a charity. I said, fine. So with his grandfather and other 3 people, I registered a charity. Even to register charity, I was in need of 10,000 rupees, and I had 10,000 big money those days. So that time, another
and this
boy...
was in what, 95?
94, 95. That time, one boy was staying with me. He was selling drugs and living, and by listening to me, he stopped selling drugs. He came to stay with me to get through the withdrawal and come out of it. So one morning, he came and said, Matt, I have some money, I want to burn it. I said, why you want to burn the money? He said, no, this is not a good money. This money I made by selling drugs. I put so many people into trouble. I said, don't burn the money, give it to me. I got a good use of it. He asked me, what? That's happened to be his wife's uncle. And I said, I want to register this charity. I need 10,000. I don't have money. 5,000 lawyer's fees and 5,000 to open the bank account. That's my lawyer said. He said, I got 20,000, I'll give you. So he gave me 20,000. So I started the charity with the money that somebody made by selling drugs. And I was on drugs for 6, 7 years. See how coincidental, how it works. So register the charity.
You were on drugs at that time or before?
No, before.
Just wanted to clarify that.
So what?
No, you said you were on drugs. I'm just wanted to clarify you were before.
Before.
I just wasted my 5, 6 years on it.
Yeah.
And here I want to start a new initiative which became a very big institution. More than 70,000 children I helped through El Shaddai over the years. We run so many centers and so many people's lives. It's all started with a small initiative and just a thought. So I started, and this lady became good friend, Anita. So I used to write a letter to her. It takes 3 weeks to go there. Then she write a reply. 3 weeks it comes to me.
Yeah, that time it used to take long to communicate.
So one day she asked me, she said, do you need a telephone? I said, yeah, good idea, but I can't afford a telephone. She asked, how much? I said, if you pay 2,000, wait for 20 years, or you pay 10,000, 6 months you get telephone connection. No, there was a scheme.
Yes.
She said, I'll give you 10,000, you book a telephone. So she gave me money to book a telephone. In those days, hardly anyone had telephone. Yes. So I had the telephone, so we started communicating. And she is all firebrand, She's so good in fundraising. Even if you meet her, she'll take money out of you. She's too good at taking money out of the people, all for good reason. And so we started working together. So she started doing a lot of fundraising. Mostly she raised money in Goa itself among the tourists. She would stand on the beach side in flea market, and sometimes she'll give one stone to people and say, okay, give me 50 rupees, take this stone, I want to feed a child. And she would do all kind of creative, crazy ways of fundraising, which beyond imagination. I would never go there. I'll tell her, please, I can't do this fundraising because I find so embarrassing to ask people for money. I asked her one day, how can you do this? I mean, how can you just ask for people for money? She said, Matthew, there is always a 50% chance. 50% they may say yes, 50% they may say no. But you don't know who will give you the money unless you ask. So I learned from her how to do fundraising. So we started, a lot of people came and gave us money, lot of money. There was never been a problem for money.
Superb.
So I set up many homes, shelters, feeding programs. In this COVID time, we fed more than 20 lakh people we fed. And we gave COVID supplies, we had a COVID center we set up. And throughout the day, every day we are feeding more than 1,000 people in Mapsa, Panjim, Margao and Vasco. Mapsa, we don't have too many people on the street. So all this started just with one thought of, I want to make a change. When I started, I had no idea what I was getting into it. I made too many mistakes because I had no knowledge about the charity. I made too many blunders because I didn't know how to do it. But here I am, after 30 years, sitting with a big smile.
70,000 children have studied
We've gone through El Shaddai over the years. We were in Sikkim, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Kerala.
Wow.
What
does El Shaddai mean?
El Shaddai is a Hebrew word. El means God. In Islam,
Yeah, I know. Al.
And when I was starting this charity, we were wondering what name to give. So I heard a sermon from one very famous preacher called DGS Dinakaran. He is very famous from South.
I went to his university.
You studied in his university, yeah. So he was saying, our God is El Shaddai, God who comforts and provides. El means God, Shaddai means comforter and provider. So I liked that word by listening to him. So I thought, okay, we'll call El Shaddai. I had no idea what I was talking about. And I put a tagline, loving, caring, sharing. Love the unlovable, because all the Lamanis were unloved and most of the poor people are depressed. In India, our country is crazy when it comes to religion and the caste. If you are not from the same caste, people don't like, especially a low caste, you're filthy, you're dirty. People show love to you only to make use of you. They're very difficult.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, so loving, caring, sharing. Love the unlovable, care for the ones whom nobody care. Share the goodness of God and man with the people who never experienced. Because when I started the work going to slums, I met a lot of people who never experienced a love or comfort. For them, their life is so short-lived. You grew up, born as a child, born into misery, grew up in the misery. Only getting into teenage, you get a bit excited because your body is developing and all this kind of thing. But soon you fall into a so-called love or marriage, 12 or 13 years, and within no time, she's back again in the super depression of an abusive husband or drinking husband, or man cheated her, or 2-3 children can't find money, food. It's a horrible, horrible, horrible life cycle.
True, so true.
So when I started with the Lamanis, no Lamanis were going to school. Today, all the Lamanis go to school. All the Lamanis.
Amazing.
Not a single child. We make sure, we have nearly 200 employees working in El Shaddai. We have a lot of field workers going to all the slums to make sure children go to school, they get food, families are supported. We are still doing the same thing. And I will continue doing it till I die.
It's amazing that something so massive started out from a small initiative and from a place like Goa.
Yeah.
Today,
El Shaddai is registered in England, Germany, America, Norway, Switzerland, and Goa, in India. And we are running more than 35 different kind of projects, all to do with women and children. We have home for the homeless men in Goa. Any man you come across who are homeless, refer them to us. We have a place. They can come, they can stay, they get food, they get counseling, mentoring. If they need to recover and regroup themselves, we got the system to do that. We have a home for the homeless women. Any women, anywhere. You see homeless, send them to us. In fact, throughout this El Shaddai journey, we always accommodated many women who has been abused or battered. Many people have been covered. There are many cases I took mother and the children together so that I could help them. And a lot of them over a period of time, the mother got to get herself organized, went out, take a room, pick up a job outside, and she took the children back and living together. It's such a joy to see the families are united and, father, mother and children could stay together and support each other.
Awesome.
I'm at a loss of words hearing the amount of good you have done. Seriously, what inspires you? What keeps you going? I want to understand that.
What keeps me going is that seeing the smile of children like Abhishek. Now, I know Abhishek, how many years? 20 years? 15 years? 15 years. You meet a child, a boy or girl, who is wearing dirty clothes, no food, no chance to go to school, and you can see a beautiful smile on their face, but they are not getting an opportunity to blossom. And then you give a little help and that person get transformed and become a responsible citizen. When you look at them, you say, man, it's worth. So the smile of the children whom I help make me very passionate. Even now when I go to Islam, and if you look at a child's face deeply, you can see a personality, you can see a character.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, many of those children are not getting an opportunity to bring it out. So it gave me a tremendous joy. I'm doing the charity work, not for money, not for name or fame. I don't care about. I don't do anything to promote myself. But the cause, look of the people's face, that makes me very passionate. So it drives me to do more.
I think a lot of people have become part of Al Shaddai, the movement of Al Shaddai, rather, I wouldn't say part of Al Shaddai. And a lot of people would like to also be part of it. So how do we get in touch? How can people be part of it? How can people contribute to it?
Yeah.
I'm not talking of monetary wise also. I'm talking of other ways also.
There are plenty of ways you can do. One is volunteering, or come and visiting them, talking to them, walk into one of the children's home, meet the children, talk to them. Because these children, because of their background, they don't know how to dream. Now you and me become successful because we grew up in a middle class family where we are taught to dream right from the birth.
Yes, probably.
We are surrounded, most of us, we are surrounded by people who think big, people who talk big. We have seen, but whereas when a child is born in Islam, he is surrounded by very depressive, very negative. He failed to dream. Even a little achievement makes him overwhelmed and he makes a mess of himself. Many of them one-time performance, never to perform again. But people who are grown up in a healthy, safe family, they don't get overwhelmed with their performance. They know this performance is my lifestyle. So one of the best things anybody want to help El Shaddai or children, come and visit one of our centers, talk to children, maybe give them a talk. How do you become, what do you become? See, when you walk in and you tell your story, you are opening a library for them to read.
Of course.
So true.
Of course.
Yeah.
So they look at you and say, Amit can become like that, why can't I become like that? That thought, if you can put in their head, then of course they can volunteer, they can monetarily support, sponsor a child, various kinds of things, or promote the El Shaddai.
Of course. Why not? I would love to someday visit, and definitely visit not once but as many times as possible. I have multiple other commitments also, but I will see that if not only I, but a lot of other people can come in and share their journeys, their thoughts, their success stories. Idea of this show also is to give ideas out, dreams, talks, share lives of people like you. So amazing success. I wouldn't call this a success story, but a story of what a turnaround can be.
Yeah.
You are a perfect example for that. Coming from depression, drugs, destitute life to helping destitutes, and in what a way. I'm lost for words. Ryan, anything that you would like to say?
Thank you.
Yeah, so we have all been touched by, the charity, your life, Julia's his wife, and we've been very close to this family. And the church as well. So I always like to, introduce Matthew to various people, promote the story, and that's why I wanted you here.
Thank you.
We have a few minutes left, but maybe in short you could share how perhaps Goa in a small way could make this happen, because you meet a lot of foreigners here, you get a lot of eyes on the project. What would you say? Do you think that in a small way maybe Goa was a ripe breeding ground or a fertile ground for doing this?
See, Goa did not have slums in the past.
Yes.
Goa had Goans. There is hardly any poor people you meet from Goan community. Goan community is quite stable. Most of the people who are in need of care and protection, either mixed marriage, like one Goan girl ran after somebody from outside, or one outsider girl came here and one Goan fellow made a baby with her. Something like mismatch. Or the people who came searching for jobs. So I'm always amazed, and I appreciate Goans for their hospitality. See, most of these Ilamani community people I worked with, they're all from Karnataka or Andhra. Now, Karnataka has a huge Bangalore, known as an IT city. I always asked to myself, why they didn't go to Bangalore to make their life? Why they came to Goa? The fact is, they are not tolerated. They're here, they are tolerated. There's a good and bad side. Bad side is that they come and they mess up the place, build big slums. It brings a lot of socio-economical problems. And the good side is Goan's hospitality and the act of kindness. They tolerate them. But even Karnataka itself won't tolerate them. They don't get a chance. So like that, Goans can be very proud of their that kind-heartedness and wanted to help. Even now, if somewhere something injustice, if a Goan guy or girl, she wouldn't walk away. Most of the time, if a tourist is abused or insulted, locals will step in. The bad side of it is that too many people are coming and building these slums. I think government should put an end to this. Like, I'm running a charity home. They have a legal requirement. If I want to keep a child, per child, I need 6 square meter area built up. I think they should do the same to the people who are migrating. Even the builders bring the workers. Even if anybody, India is one country, anybody can go anywhere. We cannot say no. But we can put some controls, no slums. Because slums
at least some basic housing needs and
otherwise
provisions for that have to be there.
Because most of the slums like Chimbel or Moti Dongar, I work in all these places, these are the breeding ground of criminals.
Yeah, lack of facilities, lack of aspirations.
So government should put some control, and with the tourism, the way our tourism growing is bad. Many of my European friends, they don't want to come anymore to Goa. They say it's too crowded.
Exactly what I've been speaking about. Mass tourism is going to lead to the destruction of Goa. We had to, unfortunately, but course correction can be done even now.
You go to Kalangu. I went to Kalangu the last year,
somewhere in November.
Sadly, it's horrible.
It used to be the queen of the beaches.
But now it's disgusting.
It was.
All kind of flashy lights and loud music. Beach is flooded with the people. I can't see a single Goan going there. And flooded with all the beer bottles and plastic and all the shacks are built right into the sea and playing such a lousy music. And that beautiful Goa, if you are not careful, it may disappear.
Yep.
That's what mass tourism can lead to. Of course, tourism has to cater to various strata of people, but
we
not
as a
this
state,
kind.
we can
Not
put
this
certain
kind of
control.
Not
We
this
can
kind
say,
of tourism.
these are the certain standard. If you come to my house, I have rules. If I come to your house, you have rules. If you go to any country in the world, they have rules.
Exactly.
So
We have to have some standards, and we have to look at tourism that brings in value, not just comes to enjoy and destroy your state and go away.
Another one
This
thing
is-
I hate to see is that people come by big trucks, jeep or tempo traveler. Right in the middle somewhere they stop, pull out the stove and
they
start
cook,
cooking
They
there and
eat,
eating
they
there.
come only for two things.
And sitting there and-
cheap liquor and cheap petrol.
And they throw everything there and walk
Litter
away.
everything and go away. That
And
doesn't bring
we
anything
have
to
to
your
clean
state.
for that. And by the look of it, I feel disgusted.
True.
That's not the kind of tourism we want. To
Even
do.
if you want, of course, it is the right probably to come and enjoy, but I think we can provide some
without-
infrastructure
without abusing
where we
us.
can see that people go there,
Yep.
have camping sites, cleanliness is maintained, they don't litter, and even if they don't have money, they can come, have a look at go and go back. But we should have stringent norms on people. See people on Miramar, buses will stop, they are cooking there, they're dirtying the whole place and going. People, and I see locals and some other people like us sometimes going and walking to them, telling them, what are you doing? Please clear everything.
But
this is one of-
That's not our job, It's
Absolutely.
a job of the
that is
authority.
absolutely.
We are not. What if that guy turn around 10 of them
Oh, it has
start attacking
happened.
you?
It's happened, sir.
So you
But,
cannot.
but every
fight
time
with
you
that.
can't go and tell it to everybody, and it is not our job. It is the job of our policy makers, of the people who have the enforcement powers to see that this doesn't happen. We have to provide for all kinds of tourists. But as I said earlier, mass tourism will destroy us. Is destroying us. I hope I think a lot of good influx has happened with the kind of high-end tourism, luxury tourism.
But they
People
will
think,
go if you
yes,
if you
we'll
promote
lose it
the
if
mass tourism.
If you promote mass tourism,
make
it is going
all
to
these
destroy.
people to come and dirty the whole place. Quality tourists will not come.
And
They all will
you
not
can
come.
earn good better from there and do good with that money that you earn from quality tourism to set up local employment, to set up education and business opportunities. Entrepreneurial opportunities are there in it. Some good policies, decisions I am seeing being taken. I hope they are implemented because the devil lies in they say fine print and in the implementation actually. Things go wrong when we are implementing them. So I hope things take a good turn. I hope that there are a lot of people like you, sir, doing amazing things that you have done. I just hope that more people take inspiration from what you have done. Even if one person watching this show gets inspired and leaves drug, alcohol or turns his life around, it will be worth it. And seriously, I'll tell you a thing. You have inspired me. I was always thinking, how can we give back? You have shown us path, probably. This is something that everybody should imbibe, trying to give back a little bit. I tried to give back to the trade that has given me everything by giving my time and commitment towards them. But beyond it also is the life. So although we do things quietly, but you can't do it, you don't know where to go to even share your thoughts and speak to people. If that can make a difference, we'll always be there. Please call on us anytime you require us.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You're very welcome.
Excellent.
One quality of Goa that you think we should have for the future is what?
One quality of Goa which we should maintain at any cost is our social freedom.
Absolutely.
Freedom of expression and that hospitality and
The warmth that
which we should never. There are a lot of forces inwarding into Goa. I'm not against any particular state. I myself is a migrant. There are a lot of external forces are coming and disturbing that warmness, and some Goans are thinking that why the hell we want to be so nice to them again? Because look at the amount of damage they are creating to our state. A lot of people are very upset about the slums and this influx of the migrants, mainly because they come and they disturb the things and they mess up the place, they dirty the things, and that at any cost, I feel government should put some kind of control on it, tourism is good, but responsible tourism is required.
Absolutely.
Not a loose and like anybody can
Sustainable
come and do
development,
and then
tourism,
junk up the place and
responsible tourism, yes.
go. Yeah. And today morning I was in Miramar Beach walking. The whole place is filthy. All the plastic bottle thrown and everything thrown. Miramar 1,000 times better, but if you go to Kalangudu, you don't even want to step in because it's so bad. So these things need to be changed. I hope the authority will put an effort to restore the beauty of Goa back to where it was. Kalangudu restored in the authentic Kalangudu. You can have beach shacks, you can have a restaurant, you can have people coming, but more discipline rather than just people come and abuse the things.
Absolutely.
So that's one thing I love to see happening.
Absolutely. It was
Matthew, I want to just... we learnt the other day what is the definition of migrant, and you are not in that category. Apparently a migrant is someone who comes, works here and just goes back.
temporary.
You are now a Goan. So don't...
I call myself an adopted Goan.
Yes.
Posco.
So we've had an amazing talk.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for sharing your journey, your what you have done for the state of Goa.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Amit, any last words?
Amit, today is at loss of words. Seriously, you've touched my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you is the only thing I can say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I must say in closing, our government, most of MLAs or ministers, most of them have been very, very helpful. Most of the people in Goa has been helpful to me. In 30 years of my journey, I count myself a bit fortunate, and in all the aspects, I succeeded, and a great amount of credit goes to my fellow Goans.
Thank you.
They've been very supportive and helpful.
True.
And very, very few people trouble me. Majority of them. Even now, every day people walks in, giving clothes or money or food or celebrating birth. Every day, at least 3-4. So I'm enjoying the warmness and the kindness and the hospitality of Goan still. So I pray that will be maintained.
Thank you.
So thank you.
For
Nice
being
for
here,
meeting
sir.
you.
Thank you for being here.
And thanks for inviting me.
Thank you. This has been another episode of Susegaad Musings. Thank you very much.
These two are like my sons, both of them.
Superb. Amazing personalities, both of them.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Susegaad Musings. Stay tuned for the release of the next episode of Susegaad Musings exactly in 1 week. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and any other podcasting platform. Watch us on our YouTube channel or follow us on Instagram and Facebook @Susegaad Musings. Susegaad Musings is brought to you by Amit Chopra and me myself, Ryan Lobo. I will see you in the next episode.